Happy New Year. Welcome back to Too Much Bricks. Today is a quick look at the LEGO Star Wars The Child. This is set 75318, ages 10 and up, 1,073 pieces, and retails for around $80 to maybe even $90 in the US. Now, this is a very awesome and intricate set. Not much as far as action for this particular one, but just really looks. We're going to get into the display stand and the one minifigure, if you will, included. Then we'll talk about the child himself. And just a quick little side note, this set right now, at the time of the recording of this video, it is Thursday, December 31st. One day left until 2021 for me, or a couple hours really. Um, but as of right now, this set is extremely hard to come by. I just did a little research before I'm making this video on some different sites such as eBay, Amazon, Target's website, and Walmart's, and all the ones I've seen besides eBay's, I believe, are out of stock. So I definitely do suggest if you see this and you want it, definitely be sure to buy it as quick as possible. But without further ado, I do want to say subscribe, drop a like if you haven't. Let's get into it. Here's a quick look at the display stand. Now, the child does not actually sit on this or anything. It's just kind of a little nameplate, if you will, with the little spot for LEGO's official minifigure scale child. And, nothing too fancy. I mean, it's actually kind of cool to get one of these. They are used a lot in the UCS sets. Now, this set is not an actual UCS set, which are mainly Star Wars sets. I believe they only made one other UCS set, which was a Hulkbuster for Marvel. If you don't know what UCS means, it is Ultimate Collector Series. So this is a collector's item. It's not really a playset in my opinion, but we'll get to more of that later on in the video. So sadly, this is not actually labeled a UCS set, but then again, I think that that is okay. But it does give you a little bit of bio on the child. You got some nice art of him in Lego form on the side here. Now this whole thing is a sticker. I believe this is the only sticker included in the actual set. The rest is just a Lego plate. It gives you its home world, which is unknown, its species, which is unknown, its age, which is 50, primary associate, the Mandalorian, and its favorite toy, the Razor Crest shifter knob, and we will get to that a little bit later. Now, aside from that, the only things you actually know is its age, height, primary associate, and favorite toy. These are all based on the Mandalorian series itself, and at the time of the recording of this video, we still do not know its true homeworld or species. So that's kind of a little bit mysterious there. But as I said, you do have a spot for the one minifigure included in the set, which is the child himself. I'll give you a better view of him. Not too fancy. This is my third LEGO official child. I had bought one separately from our sponsor. Huge shout out to Providence Brick Exchange located in Smithfield, Rhode Island for all your LEGO needs. Definitely be sure to go check them out if you are local. But I bought one separately from there, and I got one in the Razor Crest, and I got one here. So I'm definitely glad to be stocking up on all these guys since they are extremely cute. But as you can see, you got some nice printing on the torso there. And the head sculpt is really, really nice, just using the old Lego City Baby style of torso with just a new molded head. And just a basic tan body for his little robes there. And he just sits on a jumper plate just like that. And aside from that, that's pretty much it for the Lego's official minifigure scale child and the display stand or the nameplate itself. Now let's move on to the main set. Here is the child himself, and as I said about my Brickheads review, definitely should go check that out if you have not. At the time that these sets came out, we did not know his official name, so they just label him the Child. But for those of you who have seen the Mandalorian series, this is Grogu in his entirety. Most of the pieces in this set obviously go into building this brick-built Baby Yoda, or Grogu, as some like to call him. Now, the first thing we're going to take a look at is his favorite toy, or the Razor Crest shifter knob, which just sits gently in his palm there, which can be removed. So as you can see, really cool that they included this. I'm really glad they did. It was something that I was a little bit disappointed about with the Brickheads. I kind of wish they had included some type of shifter knob in that set, but at the time that the Brickheads are based, he did not really take an interest in this yet. But as you can see, it just comes in two kind of lightish silver kind of paint, not really kind of plastic, excuse me, not really chrome, but done really nice there. It comes into two components there, and then you just have the kind of filler for the middle, if you will, with that one singular blue stud sticking out. But as you can see, it just kind of cups around that stud. You take the other part, and it just snaps in just like that. Now you do have to give it a good press just to make sure that it's completely, you know, connected together so it won't fall apart in his hand. But that blue stud does serve a purpose. Let me bring him in for a closer look. You do get a good wide range of articulation in the child's hands, but as you can see his palm there, that blue stud is just going to stick right into the center of that 2 by 4, and then you can kind of close the fingers around it as much as you can to kind of give it the aspect that he's actually holding it. Now, as far as articulation goes for the hands and the head, let me zoom back out for you. As far as articulation goes for the head and the hands, as you can see, you do have some rotation in the hands. You can see it won't drop the ball since it is stuck in there with the stud, so you can kind of get that kind of force pull, if you will. It can't go all the way up because the cuffling or the cuff of the actual robe kind of blocks it there, but I think that that is okay since this, as I said at the beginning, is not really a play set, and you do get some nice articulation in the fingers there. Just the up and down movement. They can go side to side if necessary. I'm not exactly sure why you would do that. The classic, only 3 fingers, so I'm glad that they didn't give him 5 or 4 or anything like that. They did give him the correct amount, and you do have a little bit of articulation with the fingers on this hand and the actual wrists, but only just a very little bit, so you can kind of get it to just resting by his side or into somewhat of a fist, or just push the fingers together. Again, not a wide range of articulation, but a pretty good amount for, I think, what you're going to need. As far as the head goes, let me zoom into that. Articulation for the head, including the ears. I am really happy with how they did this. This is just on a ball joint and a ball and socket joint, so you do have the ability to turn his head a full 360 if you want to. You can also get some up and down motion and obviously side to side. But aside from that, there's not too much. It is a little bit loose. That's just the way you will see if you actually build a set, the way they have the structure built. But I find that that is okay. You can actually pick the entire assembly up by that ball and socket joint. Obviously, if you constantly remove the head, they're going to get the ball and socket joints are going to get a little loose. So you might not want to do that just so you have a nice strong connection there. As you can see, I can completely pick this build up, and I have continued to do that when I am placing him in different spots. And it has not come apart yet, so I'm thankful about that. But it is a very solid build, which we'll get to once we look at the torso more. But aside from the head movement, you do get some awesome articulation in the ears, which I think is very important, and I knew that they had to do. You do have the ability to move these ears all the way to the top. That is the height it reaches. It cannot go any further than that, but I think that that is okay. I don't really like them sticking up like that. On the box, Lego actually shows them a little bit slanted, but almost straight, not quite like that. Or you can even do a very cute position, which is with them all the way down, which I think looks very, very nice. And aside from that, besides the ear having some movement there in the head itself, you do get some mouth movement right there. So that's really cute. You can actually open up the mouth, and they do have a 1 by 3 in there in a nice dark red to represent maybe his tongue or the gums or the inner parts of his mouth. That can't open any further than that. You can go a little bit, but that's kind of just really weird. But if you do that, you do have to kind of reach your thumb in there or finger to kind of get it closed. I personally am going to be leaving mine closed, but aside from that, I still think that it looks pretty cool. As I said, the ears, definitely something I knew that they had to do. Now, as far as the face goes, I think they did a beautiful job with the shaping here. They do have these discs used for the underside of builds just stuck in there, and they do have a little bit of printing on them, just a darker brown. I don't know if that can actually show up in the camera. Dim the lights there so you can maybe get a better look, but you can see you just got a darker shade of brown there opposed to the black, just so you can get like the eyes aren't dead, that they actually have some life in them, and a little bit of nose there, which I think is very, very cute. But as I said, the overall shaping of the head, I think they did a very nice job with, and the back as well. I think it looks very nice. You do get a little bit of a gap. If you look directly in where the ears are, you can kind of see the ball joints in there. But I think that that's okay. I think they did the best they could because they obviously have to have room for the ears to actually move. But I don't think that it is noticeable unless you are actually looking for it. But aside from that, that pretty much completes it for the head. Now let's move on to the torso. I have heard a lot of complaints about the torso, saying that it is much too studdy and that they could have tiled it a little bit better. I agree that it is very study. I'm not exactly sure uh, what Lego was trying to do. As I was building this, I wasn't exactly sure what Lego was trying to do, but once it's all complete, you can kind of get the aspect of it. They actually have you build the arms separately, so once those go on, it does make a little bit more sense as far as the shaping goes. But as you can see, each seam or crease there, they have you build four of these assemblies to place all around the inner structure, which actually wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. I definitely suggest that if you are new to Lego or not a very experienced builder, not to pick this set up because it is very hard to kind of get the texturing right here and follow each step. But it wasn't as complex as I thought it was going to be. I think the instructions that Lego did for this particular set were very clear on where to put them. They actually outlined the pieces in red, which is something I haven't seen, and I'm thankful that they did. But a lot of sloping, and as I said, I have heard people complaining that is too study. I think that it is fine personally. I mean, it is a Lego set, and they do have a little bit of the slopes and some tiles here and there, but could it have been a little bit more smoother? I think so, but obviously you can kind of see what you Lego was trying to do, getting kind of the robe creases in there. As far as the actual wrist or arm go, I think that those look very good. You actually have to build two different types of arms since one is going to be up and one is going to be just resting by the side. Now you can see you got a tile there and one down there. Now moving up to the collar, you have a lot of nice shaping there to kind of get that ruffled collar, which I think they did a very nice job all around. And as I said before, to get the actual head articulation, you have to have a little bit of gap there, so you can actually have him looking up if you wanted to. But aside from that, as I said, I still think that they did a nice job. And yeah, that pretty much completes it for our look at the child. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I do hope you found this helpful. If you did, please leave it down in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think of this set. Will you be picking it up, and is it worth buying? This was my look at the LEGO Star Wars The Child, set 75318, ages 10 and up, 1,073 pieces, and retails for around 80 to maybe even $90 in the US. I am so glad that I was able to pick this set up. As soon as I heard about it, the rumors of it, and as soon as I saw it, I knew that I had to pick it up because I am a huge Mandalorian fan and Grogu fan. Do I think it's overpriced? Not at all. I think that this rests at a solid price. I mean, for it being $80 for a 1,000 piece set, I think that the price point is fine. How would I rate this set? I definitely recommend picking it up. As far as the complaint about it being too study, yes, it is very study, but it is a very solid build, and I personally think it looks fine. You do get an included minifigure scale Grogu, so that is good. Although it is in another expensive set, since the only two sets at the time of the recording of this video you can get. The minifigure scale Grogu is in this one and the Razor Crest, which are two very expensive sets. But hopefully tomorrow, January 1st, is the release of a new Mandalorian set, Trouble on Tatooine. So I'm definitely hoping to be able to pick that up soon. And that is going to be one of the cheapest sets you can get Grogu in. I believe it's going to be around 30 to maybe even $40. But thank you all for watching. Happy New Year. Definitely be sure to subscribe, drop a like if you haven't. Be on the lookout for more content coming up soon. And I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep building.